Hi folks, today I thought I'd do a little video on safety gear when we're out doing our paddling on surf skis out in the ocean or around in the harbours. Occasionally we see various comments up on the Facebook groups about what kind of safety gear you could or should carry when you're out and about. And I thought I'd share a little bit about what I have with me on my person and what I have on the surf ski when I'm out on the water. So I was just going to walk through each of the individual pieces and just as a way of sharing what I do. I might be doing a bit of overkill, but I've got a wife that likes to see me come home every night, so I tend to cover all my bases as much as I can. So one of the first essential pieces that you'll see pretty much all people with a surf ski out and about is a leg leash. Pretty critical piece of equipment for ensuring that if you do come off your surf ski and you're in a high wind area, that your surf ski doesn't get blown away from you. I've done a few paddles now where I've come off and the wind has actually picked up and rolled my ski away, and the only thing that's kept it attached to me has been my leg leash, which is pretty important. I'll probably try and put a wee video in here just to show you what that looks like. The other piece that's fairly common is a paddle leash. So typically leash to the middle of your paddle or somewhere on your paddle and then onto your person. I tend only to use the paddle leash when it's in a really crazy big seas or high wind situation. I generally have quite a high degree of confidence with holding onto my paddle in sort of normal conditions. And particularly if I'm with others, I tend less to worry about the paddle leash. If I'm out by myself, then in sort of rougher conditions, then that's an essential piece that I'll turn on. Another one which I'll put on the ski itself is a sort of rudder repair kit. So this is from Mock. Hooks over the end of your ski. So if you've had a rudder cable break, this allows you to hook this over, hook it onto your rudder mechanism at the stern of your surf ski, and forces your rudder into one position so that the other foot pedal you can use to keep your ski aligned and heading in the direction you need it to go. Hopefully I never have to use this. The other one I have, which is I've recently just purchased and is pretty much for staying on the ski because of its size and bulk, is a smoke flare. So this allows really useful on during daytime. So if you're needing to guide in a boat or a helicopter and you're out at sea, it can be pretty hard to find a surf ski or an individual out bobbing around on the water. So this allows you to pop the smoke, particularly useful if you're also on a radio with rescuers and you're able to guide them into you and get them to look out for the smoke. Slightly smaller, and this is one I carry on my PFD, is a red handheld flare. So it's enables me to pop a flare. Again, useful if you're looking to draw attention to your position, and really useful for when you're looking to guide in rescuers coming into your location. This is one I don't use very often, mainly if I'm going to go out paddling at night or if it's really early in the morning and the sun hasn't yet come up. Is I put a light on my boat, mainly for I guess navigation and for allowing others to see me. But it does have a sort of standard light, which is helpful for illuminating and for people to see where you are. But if you are in trouble, you are able to turn it on to a flashing mode, and it helps draw attention to where you might be. But as I said, I tend not to use this very often, mainly when I'm paddling at night time. One piece of critical equipment I carry with me is a VHF radio. So I use a little Uniden handheld, and I carry it in a case like this one. Sits inside it, and carry that over the top of my PFD. It allows me to have easy access to it, so I can actually talk to it with one hand and continue sort of staying on the ski as needed. When I bought the Uniden, I also did the VHF Marine Operators course through the one of the online courses that are run here in New Zealand, and that's allowed me to just have some confidence about how to use the radio, when to use it, and when I'm paddling with others that have also got radios, we're able to do radio checks and just use these as emergencies when we're paddling. If there are multiple paddlers together on a VHF radio, just agree what channel you'd go to in the case of an emergency. So if one of you gets separated, you can all jump onto the same channel and keep an ear out for where people might be. I also carry a cell phone with me, so I have a waterproof iPhone that I keep on my person. So I tend to put this into my PFD fully charged. There's a couple of apps I tend to run on it as well. So sometimes I'll run a just a kayaking app just to track my progress. But other times, if I'm particularly going out by myself, I'll use the Coast Guard Safe Tracks app. I'll put a link in here as well. And that's really useful for me being able to provide real-time updates to people that are land-based. So it can provide either continuous 5 or 10 minute updates on your position, and allows people to see on a map exactly where you are. So I tend to use this, share it with my wife, and share it with some of my other paddling buddies if they're on land-based, and generally they know how long I'm likely to be out, so if I'm out beyond that, then they can call for help. Safe Tracks also has the ability to push a button to seek assistance as well. And if you're in the harbour, you can actually just pick up the phone and call somebody, but you can't always rely on having cell phone coverage. The other thing I use is, I have on my PFD at all times, is a personal locator beacon. So I use this is one of the smallest ones on the market. It's quite tiny, and it's the Rescue Me PLB1 Ocean Signal. It's very, very small. In the event that I need to push the button, this is the big red button you push when things go really, really wrong. Once you turn it on, it will activate search and rescue to come to your location. It has a wee aerial that you have to deploy, like so, and then you open it up and push the button. Once that's done, it basically activates folks to head in your direction. This is the one you use in extreme emergencies. I also carry a pretty low-tech piece of equipment, a whistle. Super useful if you're just needing to draw attention to where you are, and there are others in your vicinity. But it's quite handy. I keep it tethered to my life jacket, to my PFD, so that if I do need it, I can just pull it out of the pocket. No chance of me losing it if I drop it. I also use a little light. So this is just handy if it's if I'm separated from my surf ski and I need to, maybe it's nighttime or low light situations, I can turn on the light and wave it around to draw attention to myself as well. I keep my locator beacon, whistle and the light all tethered into the same pocket on my PFD, so I have all of my safety equipment in one place on one side and my cell phone on the other side. And I do that every time, so I know exactly where I need to reach for in the event that I do have an emergency that I need to deal with. And then finally, my PFD. Pretty much the most essential piece of equipment you need when you're out on the water. Basically, I don't go paddling unless I'm wearing a PFD. It's in the event that you get tired, it's going to be critical to keeping you alive. I tend to go for bright fluoro colours so that they're easier to see if you're out and about. So that's pretty much all the equipment I carry with me. It might seem a bit of overkill, but the general sense is you carry at least a couple of pieces of communication equipment with you, which for me is the VHF radio and my phone. The locator beacon's my big red button for when things go really, really wrong. Other than that, stay safe, folks, and enjoy getting out there on the water. So this is what it looks like when I've got everything loaded up on my jacket. So in my left-hand pocket, I pretty much always carry my cell phone. So it's set up to run generally with Safe Tracks when I'm out and about, and I always keep it in my left-hand pocket so that it's I've got that kind of muscle memory of where I know where it is. I tend not to take it out when I'm out on the water. It stays firmly zipped up, and effectively it's my sort of tracking GPS so that folks can see where I'm at. I'd only pull it out if I needed to try and make a phone call, if my other forms of communication weren't working. On my right hand pocket is pretty much all of my emergency equipment that I carry on my person, and I carry a little bit on the surf ski as well. So the stuff that I carry in this pocket, generally I carry the stuff that's I'm going to need sort of in smaller emergencies, so maybe my whistle or the light, and they tend to be tethered inside the life jacket. So if I pull them out and I drop them, they're not going to I'm not going to lose them, which is quite key. Next thing I have is the personal locator beacon, so I can pull that out, turn it on. It's tethered as well, so you can see that actually all three of these items are tethered firmly inside the pocket. And then the final piece that I have in here is my flare. So once I've set off the locator beacon, I know that there's some search and rescue is going to be activated. If I see someone in the vicinity that I can then start attracting to my position, then I'd pull out my flare, pop that, and then I can hopefully get rescued and get home safe and sound. Finally, over the top of my life jacket, or my PFD, is I tend to put my VHF radio. So I tend to have it on my person, so if I am separated from the ski, again I can engage in communications using marine channels as needed. So this just sits here, and it allows me to actually engage, because the talking button's on the side here. I can basically engage in communication with relative ease, being able to talk across the microphone. It actually works really well inside the plastic, so these are designed to enable communication, keeping your VHF radio nice and safe. So that's what I look like when I'm out and about. It's not too bulky. The only thing I have in addition to this would be a bladder on my back for fluids. So for longer paddles, I tend to carry a litre or so of fluids so they can stay well hydrated while I'm out on the water. And a final point to note around the use of safety equipment and buying it all. These are all items I've typically built up over the last year or so. So I've started with the essential things, so my PFD, my leg leash, carried a phone with me and a locator beacon. Those were kind of the main ones that I started with. And then from there I moved on to adding in the VHF radio, did the Marine Operators VHF course, which gave me that confidence in how to use it. And then from there I've added the paddle leash, and I've recently just purchased the flares as well, which have given me just a couple of other options that I can carry with me or on the ski as well. So hopefully you find that useful. If you've got any questions, sing out. Always happy to share my journey. I'm by no means an expert on the water, but I'm learning like all of us, and just doing our bit to stay safe out there. And I think also be in a position to help others if needed as well. So if you've got the right equipment to do what you need to do, then it gives you the confidence to be able to assist with others if they're in a spot of bother. So stay safe out there, folks, and see you on the water.